While Governor Sarah Palin, campaigned through the weekend, the results of a long-awaited ethics investigation came out in her home state of Alaska. It found that Palin violated ethics laws in connection with the firing of a top state official using the power of her office to try to settle a private family score. We're going to talk to the man caught in the middle of all this in a moment, but first, let's get the story from NBC's Savannah Guthrie.
Keeping up a brisk pace on the campaign trail this weekend, Sarah Palin paused only briefly to call the Alaska report that found she abused her power as governor political.
A partisan kind of process that had been undertaken by some of the legislators who haven't been real happy with anything that I've done along the way as governor. That process now is over.
Senator Green. Yes.
Late Friday, an Alaska Legislative Committee unveiled a 263-page report finding Palin broke no criminal laws but violated ethics rules. The accusation that she dismissed her public safety commissioner, Walter Monaghan, because he refused to fire her ex-brother-in-law, a state trooper who the Palins claimed had threatened the family in the midst of a messy divorce. Investigators concluded under the law, the governor could fire Commissioner Walt Monaghan at will for almost any reason or no reason at all. But the report faulted Palin for allowing impermissible pressure to be placed on state employees, primarily because her husband Todd worked intently to get the trooper fired, by his own count, contacting over a dozen state employees to complain.
Should the governor have reined him in? Well, she did try to rein him in probably on a few occasions from what I've understood.
In Philadelphia Saturday, Palin received a mixture of boos and applause at a hockey game. But on the trail, no sign the trooper scandal matters to the audience Palin is courting.
She hasn't lost her appeal to the Republican base, and members of the Republican base are likely to dismiss this as just politics.
The report does not recommend any discipline against Palin. That would be up to the full state legislature, which could reprimand her, move to impeach her, or do nothing at all. For today, Savannah Guthrie, NBC News, Washington.
Walter Monaghan is the man at the center of this investigation. He's the Alaska Public Safety Commissioner who was fired by Governor Sarah Palin. He joins us by phone now for a Today Show exclusive. Mr. Monaghan, good morning to you.
Good morning, man. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I know that on Friday you said you felt this report vindicated you in some ways. After thinking about it all weekend and hearing the response from Governor Palin's side, you still feel that way?
Actually, to the point of the word, I would use that I feel relief. My wife and I have gone through a lot since July, and it's not a matter of feeling revenged or anything like that. It is more specifically just being relieved.
Governor Palin has responded to this report's issuing this report by saying that it vindicates her because it found no criminal wrongdoing, noting that the report says your firing was a, quote, proper and lawful exercise. Her lawyers have said the investigators really had to stretch the meaning of the ethics rule to find her in violation. How would you respond to that?
Well, in regards to a criminal act, I would have to obviously agree. But the part where everybody seems to miss it, I've never contested my firing. My firing was as was described, completely lawful and authorized in the Constitution. It wasn't that I was fired, that I asked any questions why. It was what was the reasons for the firing, that's all.
And basically, the report did not say that you were fired because you failed to fire her brother-in-law, which I guess leads me to the question, where does this leave you legally? Do you have any legal recourse for your firing?
Well, I'm sure there is, but at this point, what I'm trying to do, or what we're trying to get out there, is that this isn't really about me. I mean, inside the state of Alaska, I think we're more concerned about our governor. I mean, I think she took a big blow to her credibility and more certainly to her campaign promises of being open and transparent.
Obviously, voters are going to have to make that decision. But let me end on one other question about you. This has been described by Governor Palin as a partisan investigation. You've been described by some people as a rogue employee, so your reputation is at stake. Let me ask you the simple question. Are you a Democrat or a Republican? Do you support John McCain or Barack Obama?
Well, actually, I'm an undeclared, and I've always picked the person or the issue that fits my values. And so what I tell people when they ask me, who am I going to vote for? I say, that's why they put those little curtains around the ballot box in there.
Walter Monaghan. Mr. Monaghan, thanks for joining us by phone this morning from Alaska.